It's me, Clauds, and I am back with another video. So today I am going to be telling you guys about my March TBR. And since March is National Women's History Month, I thought why not integrate that with this month's TBR. So a lot of the books I picked out, well, not a lot, some of the books I picked out follow that theme. And it's not exactly like women's history, sort of, but like just basically iconic women. And yeah, some historical, non-fictional women, as well as some books that don't fall under this theme. So yeah, let's get started. So the first book in this month's TBR is Women Who Ruled: History's 50 Most Remarkable Women by Claudia Gold. I don't read a lot of nonfiction, but I want to, so I bought myself this book to kind of motivate me. Because like, as a girl in her 20s, like, who wouldn't want to read about the 50 remarkable women mentioned here?
Women.
You have a bunch of people here. So it's sort of like a compilation of sorts. So like each chapter is a different woman. So I don't think you actually have to like read it one after the other. I think it's sort of like a book of short stories, so to speak, but like with real people. But how it's set up is actually in chronological order. So it dates all the way back from 15th century BC to the last one was 2007. So the first woman here is Hatshepsut, Queen of Egypt, 15th century BC, and the last woman is Benazir Bhutto, Prime Minister of Pakistan, 1953 to 2007.
Women.
And I feel like this would be a great way to start the month, because like I'm gonna be reading about history. I'm gonna be reading about the women who paved the way for us, and I think that'd be really interesting.
Women.
I actually started this last night, but I only got until the introduction. The next book I picked out kind of follows that theme and like more or less the same thing. My next book is Princesses Behaving Badly by Linda Rodriguez McRobbie. It's still wrapped in plastic. So it's real stories from history without the fairy tale endings. It's basically more or less the same thing, probably with different women. Maybe these are the women who are more known. Maybe these are the women who are not as known. Maybe royalty. Yeah, I'm really not sure, because as you can see, it's still wrapped, and at the bookstore they didn't have an unsealed copy. So yeah, I took a gamble. I'm really excited to read this because I know, based on the introduction, that we aren't just talking about like rulers, we're also talking about courtesans and concubines, you know, women who rose to power that way, and like that's freaking badass, dude. Like that's badass. So yeah, I'm excited to get through this. My next read is actually going to be a reread, and when I read this book the first time, I don't know, maybe I was just too young to really understand it, or maybe I wasn't in the right mindset, because I actually started reading this book while I was on a trip, and I don't think that was a good idea. And then yeah, it's been a few years since I've read this. I think like 2 or 3, and I think now I'm smarter and wiser and can actually understand what's going on, and like can understand the emotional weight of what's happening. And this is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. And I know it's going to be a really heavy book. I've been through it before. And again, I didn't get to really understand it and grasp the importance of this book. I know from what I remember is that the characters in this novel, they don't have happy lives, yet they pull through and are still powerful in the end. And this, I think, counts as historical fiction. So yeah, that's really just what I remember. So don't like quote me on those. But like, I thought that it would be a good time to revisit this book and give it another shot because, as I said, I did not really get to understand it back then. So yeah. My next book, it is definitely not historical fiction or anything, but this novel, or at least the character in this novel, is so iconic. She would probably be integrated into history already. We're talking about literature history, film history, I think TV history. I think they made a cartoon. I'm not sure. But just like the Barbie movies, this person's story has been revamped. I know there's like a newer version now that kids are into. I've never read it. I've seen it at the bookstore sometimes. Never picked it up. Not my thing anymore. But this is something I read as a kid, and this is number 23 of the Nancy Drew mystery stories. The Mystery of the Tolling Bell. Why I picked this specific one, I actually have a bunch of the Nancy Drew books, just like I think around 7, 8, 9 of them upstairs in my library. So what I did was I kind of searched for best Nancy Drew books ranked, and I kind of just clicked on the first one that I saw, the first article that I saw, I mean. This is number 23, and number 23 was like number 4 on that person's list. I didn't have like the top 3 spots. So yeah, it's fine. At least I got top 4. So it's cool. And I don't know, like, Nancy Drew is iconic, you guys. She is iconic. She is, I don't know about you guys, but she is my first feminist icon. Like, how many female detectives do we have? Especially like when I was 8 years old and borrowing these books from my school library. I think Nancy Drew might have been the very first books I bought as a kid. So like, this is really, really nostalgic for me. And I cannot wait to get into this. Like, oop. Oh my god, I flipped it open and I made my own library card. No! Oh my god. Who the fuck is Ella? I did not have a classmate named Ella. Was she like my imaginary friend or something? Well, Ella never returned it because date due, oh my god, January 24, 2007. Guys, this is pencil and like cutout paper. Oh, okay, 8-year-old me. Work. Was I 8? No, I was turning 8. Yeah, I was turning 8. My birthday is April 1st. That's why my life is such a joke. I was born on April Fool's Day. Jesus Christ. People are gonna be so triggered. Again, I was 8 years old. I seem to have taken a pink colored pencil and yeah. Lastly, this is a trilogy. I don't have the third book. Depending on how I feel about the second book, if I like it, I'll buy a copy of the last one, like a physical copy. If not, maybe I'll just go on Kindle. But this does not fall under the National Women's History Month theme. This is a buddy reading that I'm doing with a couple of other people. We will be buddy reading the Grisha trilogy because the TV series is coming up, and like a lot of thoughts and a lot of screenshots and feelings popping up on my Twitter feed that I was just, you know what, fuck it, I'll read it. So like, I read Shadow and Bone a few years ago and I didn't not like it. It's just I kinda didn't like it enough to immediately continue the series. So I kind of just kept putting it off and then apparently bought the second book. Another thing is that I hear a lot of mixed reviews about it. So yeah, but what I do remember at least is that it was a really, really fast-paced novel. I think I finished it in 1 or 2 days when I first read it. So maybe it won't be that bad. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, I'm kind of worried seeing that Veronica Roth is the one who gave the little blurb at the top. Unlike anything I've ever read.
A shade of it all.
That statement goes both ways. Is it a bad unlike anything you've ever read or a good one? That's kind of shady, Veronica Roth. But at the same time, you wrote Allegiant. So I don't know what to feel about your opinions anymore. Anyway, this is my March TBR. Obviously, I'll probably be adding another book or two because of my book clubs. This is it. Hopefully I get to finish all of these because the last time I planned a TBR, I went ham. Like, I picked out a stack this high, like this high, full of books, thinking that I think it was my October TBR, thinking that I'd be reading it in 1 month. And what happened was that I just burnt myself out. Like, I went on a reading slump, I went on a YouTube slump, an Instagram slump, a Twitter slump. Like, I couldn't look at books or anything relating to books for like weeks, and I hated it so much. So you know what? We're gonna go simple this time. We're gonna go simple. We're not gonna go crazy. I already am crazy. We don't need to go even more crazy. So we're gonna start small. We're gonna be a little more realistic this time. We respect attainable goals in this channel. Reach for the stars, guys, but sometimes you don't always have to.
You're an inspiration to all of us.
Anyway, before I turn into a philosopher, I'm gonna sign off. So, see you guys in the next video. Bye!